time. Mr Deputy Speaker, a very wise man once said politicians should wear sponsor jackets like NASCAR drivers. Then we know who owns them. That very wise person was the late Robin Williams, and I share his words. I've become increasingly concerned about the state of our Australian democracy, about the decreasing level of transparency and accountability of our political leadership. Abound in our media are disturbing stories of slowly fragmenting democracy. And democracy is a very fragile thing. Stories of political influence being traded and of policy favours being procured, stories of foreign influence gaining purchase within our political landscape. Audi bags full of money changing hands to evade the gaze of the public interest. And I've always said if you want to see whose vested interests are being championed, then follow the money. Which leads me to mention the gambling industry, one that we do absolutely nothing about in this place. Shocking allegations of money laundering were made against Crown Casino. Nothing was said in this place. I might remind the House that just having a look at the Australian Electoral Commission website, I'm sure many in Australia were not surprised that over the last 4 years of disclosures, around $1 million was handed in donations just from Crown Casino to both of the major parties. What can we conclude about water deals, where we pay almost twice the recommended rate? Why is it that our government is merely disappointed that Westpac has turned a blind eye to money laundering crimes that number in the millions? It's a matter for the bank, not a matter for us to deal with in here, is what we were told. Right now, a family of 5 can donate $60,000 to a political party and nobody in Australia would be any the wiser. They could donate $12,000 each, $60,000. Nobody would know. Well, I think they should know, and this bill seeks to make it easier to follow the money that politicians and their parties receive. If enacted, the bill would lower the political donation disclosure threshold from $13,800 to $1,000 and remove the indexation of that threshold. I'm one of a few members in this place who relies upon community and micro-donations to fund their political campaigns. I refuse to take donations from big unions or from big business. I've always maintained that if you're donating in the thousands of dollars rather than the tens or hundreds or even a bit of coin, then the public has the right to determine for themselves whether those donations are influencing the views and the political positions of the recipient candidate or party. This bill acts to complement my earlier private member's bill in this place, and that was the Commonwealth Electoral Amendment Real-Time Disclosure of Political Donations Bill 2019, which calls for a maximum of a 5-day lag in the disclosure of political donations and is currently being considered in an inquiry by the Joint Standing Committee on Electoral Matters. Together, these bills are based upon the belief that the greater transparency in our democracy will lead to greater democratic accountability. The public should know whether our representative democracy is representative of the demos, the people, or if it's represented and representing vested interests. Trust in our democracy is at an all-time low, and I'm sure we all feel that. And these 2 pieces of legislation are part of a solution to turn that trust around. We need to restore the compact between the government and those for whom the government exists to serve, those for whom this parliament exists to serve. The Commonwealth Amendment lowering the donation disclosure bill gives the Australian people the right to follow the money. I urge all members in this place to give the bill serious consideration and return more to the demos, the people. I mean, that is why we are here, and I commend this bill to the House